Yo, what is up? Well, tonight didn't go as planned, and I got up because I really want to do this tonight because I figured, you know what, we all got to talk about, we got a few days until a playoff game here, so the schedule this weekend, obviously, we'll have the shakedown tomorrow. We're not going to have it tomorrow night. We're going to have it during the day tomorrow. We're not going to have it late as usual, like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It will be like an earlier within the day type stream because I know me and Philly have stuff to do in the afternoon. So, but obviously we'll have our Monday, we'll have the live play-by-play on Monday night, and then hopefully some good news. I'm praying to God there's good news after this game. A lot is going on regarding this coaching staff, where we're kind of going at this point. And, I can't be too comfortable about this game because I feel like we've been promised things every single week and it's just not working. It's just not working. And are we going to see a different football team this week? I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just you lose 5 out of 6 games. What am I going to think? At this point of what they're trying to do here. But we're going to go over some news tonight that happened today, since it was Friday's practice, everything that's been going on. But I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. What is going on, guys? We got Big Wick Traders. What's going on? We got Will Sports Topics. What's going on? We got Walt. We got Jersey Dolphins. We got Robert G. Robert G said, so it's good to be back. Love the show and all the comments. I appreciate it so much, man. Anderson, the team after that. Who that dude? What's going on? Who that dude? What's going on, man? Hope you're having a good day. Chris said Nick's last stand Monday night. It might be. Formerly known as JJ says, looking forward to big changes next year. Maybe Lurrie and Roseman have been humbled. Yeah, and what I've heard so far of what's been going on with Jeffrey Lurie, there's been news that's been coming out that Jeffrey Lurie has been more involved. Okay, he's been more involved in, mostly the practices. I mean, I think he's been at practice almost every day this week. He wants to get more involved in football operations, which I guess is showing me that he hasn't really been involved at all. But when you're I think part of it is Lurrie wants to see what the team, how the team is in general, like if the roster is believing in this coaching staff as of right now. You know what I mean? I think that's what we're kind of looking for going into. I think this is what we're really looking for going into, obviously, this playoff game. I honestly think Nick's job is on the line. I definitely do. I don't even know what the case is right now, but we got White Batman with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It says, taking a shot for you. We want Bill. The worst thing that could happen right now is Bill Belichick, okay? Because Matt Patricia's already here, Bill has wanted Matt Patricia back with New England since he left. And there was rumors a couple weeks ago that Bill Belichick, there was rumors of him that he's not going to have any control over personnel, that whatever team he goes to next, he won't have control over personnel, which kind of sucks. I don't know, maybe he just can't do it anymore. Maybe he knows that a lot of this league, a lot of head coaches don't get much control. Obviously, with the Eagles, the head coach gets control because he's allowed to have the control. And that's been a big problem. I'm not really a big fan of Bill Belichick coming here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've seen what he's been doing for years, and if they're going to get another coach, it's got to be somewhat of a younger coach. I don't know. They need somebody else that's going to be here a while, that was going to be a head coach of this team for a long time. I mean, you're going to get a guy that's, how many years does Bill Belichick have left at this point? I totally, respect everybody's opinions on Bill Belichick, and if they, would see if that he would be a good fit here. But I don't know. Until Nick is fired, I'm not going to speculate on who would actually come here. Because at the end of the day, if Nick is, if they lose the game and Nick's not fired, I'm not going to be as mad. It just really depends how they win or lose this game, and mostly lose this game. So we'll see. I don't believe they'll hire Belichick. I don't believe they'll hire, they'll hire what's his face from Michigan. I don't think they'll hire. They're not going to hire anybody that's going to have pushback, but I feel like the philosophy definitely has to change sooner or later. Robert says, our birds are very banged up, but I'm a lifter Eagles fan. I hope Hurts can throw with effectiveness. I'm sure Howie's going to make a lot of changes seriously. Well, there was news from Josina Anderson. This will be in some videos tomorrow, but I kind of just want to hit on this really quick. Josina Anderson did put up some news. Said the outcome of the Cowboys and Eagles playoff games this week in the NFC East may have a lot riding on them. Says, I'm told Philadelphia at this time is already considering some staff changes after the season, particularly on the defensive side, per league source. Now, we already know who the scapegoat is on the offense. Why does Brian Johnson have 2 fucking interviews? It's because the rest of the league knows who has control. That's a part of it. Yeah, the Rooney Rule probably took effect. I mean, just because Brian Johnson's getting interviews doesn't mean he's going to get the job. I mean, a lot of teams are doing their due diligence right now to get guys in the building to, obviously hire people for the head coaching job. Okay. But when it comes to Brian Johnson, it's one of those things now to where it's kind of ridiculous, but it's not, because I don't think Brian Johnson has gotten full control of this offense. We've been blaming Brian Johnson since the beginning of the season. Now, as the season went on, we heard from Dave Spadaro a few weeks ago that this is Nick's game plan at the end of the day. This is Nick's game plan when it comes to what the Eagles do offensively. And really, why does Brian Johnson have an offensive coordinator title at this point? It makes no sense. So as much as the defensive side is really important, the offensive side is very important as of right now. So that's kind of, I hope they make more changes than that. I'm not even saying clean the coaching staff, but they got to clean both of these coordinators. And Nick Sirianni is going to be, I don't know. Jeffrey Lurie is going to find out if this roster still believes what Nick is doing, and that if they feel like they're too far gone and they just can't survive in this playoff game, because Tampa Bay is just beatable at this point. Jalen Hurts had a really good practice today, even with the glove. I don't know if he had the glove off or the glove on his right hand for the middle finger. It's obviously not broken. It's just, it was dislocated, and he's going to be in a lot of pain this week. But apparently he threw the ball really good. Baker Mayfield did not practice for a second day straight. He's dealing with a rib injury, and he's dealing with something else. So both of these quarterbacks are pretty banged up right now. We'll see how it goes, but it should be interesting. We got super chat for Big Marshall. What's going on, man? So we want Bill. Say it with me, Joe. We want Bill. Look, I guess there's a lot of Eagle fans that want Bill Belichick. I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, do you think like Bill is like the quiet, he's like the strong silent type. And I know he has a voice when he has to use it, and it's most likely behind the scenes and stuff. So I don't know if the Eagles would have a lot of interest. It could be a Matt Patricia. The thing is, I feel like Bill Belichick would want Matt Patricia as his DC. And I think I don't know. We have to give a defensive coordinator, an offensive coordinator, a shot at what they want to do and be sole ownership of what they do on the field as their own offense, as their own defense. The bend don't break has got to stop, and Nick Sirianni cannot, put a playbook in his hands anymore or strategize an offensive game plan for the week. It's just not working at this point of what they're doing. So I respect Eagle fans that want it. Look, I have no issue with Eagle fans wanting Bill Belichick at all. So, Rogue says, I think you don't realize how much Jeffrey Lurie is going to go for an established coach, and he's probably going to tell Howie Roseman after watching him and picking the wrong coaches. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know why they allowed Nick to get his hands on it. I don't get why they allowed Nick to create, to game plan for this team every week. I don't get why Brian Johnson's even around. I mean, Shane Steichen had game plans every week. They ran it by analytics, but they made a lot of adjustments every week. Even the Super Bowl year with the Eagles, we ran our offense off of analytics, but we made strong adjustments. Look at some of the highlights from last year. How many times last year did we always have a hot route? We had every receiver was working middle of the field. Like, we were able to get a lot of stuff off, but there's so much, time between Jalen Hurts extending plays, and I feel like these route combinations are taking too long. They're not running the football enough. They're they're using the wrong players for certain situational football, and that's what really pisses me off. I feel like it's gotten worse every week. It hasn't gotten better. It hasn't gotten better at all. So. Sorry. We got Big Marshall with the super chat. Thanks so much. He says, we need a culture change, a new defense. Bill is the guy to do it. Our culture is broken. I feel like our culture, it has definitely hasn't been intact. I believe it. And if A.J. Brown before we lost to the Giants, if A.J. Brown was literally, if you saw the reports, A.J. Brown was talking to the players throughout the week in these meetings, multiple meetings, telling players that we need to believe in this coaching staff. And if that's the case, that means that Nick is losing the locker room. It's just, if this playoff game wasn't taking place, all shit would break loose right now. If we didn't have a playoff game, you know how much more shit would be going on? Probably a lot. Probably a lot would be going on right now. So, Torville, what's going on, man? He says, we need to hope that Halby gets hired by another team. That guy reminds me of Paul Nebodesta, who ruined the Dodgers with analytics. Well, yeah, so Howie Roseman's assistant GM apparently has got some interviews lined up. All these, I'm not even saying a lot of these Howie Roseman disciples have been successful. Andrew Berry has been pretty successful with the Browns since he left quite a while ago. I don't really know who else has really been doing. Obviously, Joe Douglas, it's been on and off. Nothing too consistent. A GM for the Jets, and I really don't know who else has really been successful off the Howie Roseman assistant GM tree. Andy Weidel with the Steelers. I think Andy Weidel is the GM for the Steelers. I think I don't even know if they've drafted some good players. I think there's a promising team there for the future. They just got to draft a little bit better, fill some holes up defensively, and I think they're okay. Still not sure about the quarterback too much, but I guess we'll find out later on. Chris says we need culture to start with. Yeah. And if you're going to start a culture, don't ruin it by giving a coach. I don't know how they allowed this to happen. I honestly don't know how they allowed all this to happen. It's really annoying. Anthony says, didn't Mariota throw a pick first play against the Giants? Yeah, it was a screen pass. Kyle says, how do we not know that AJ talked to Lurrie about bringing in Mike Vrabel? Yeah, AJ Brown has a really good relationship with Mike Vrabel. Vrabel got fired. Really, Vrabel hasn't done well with the Titans since, 2018 to 19? I think he had some pretty good defenses, a top 13 defense. I think in 18, a top 8 defense, and 2019, he's had 2 losing seasons. At the end of the day, they just haven't had a quarterback. And unfortunately, he didn't want A.J. Brown to get traded. Did not want to get AJ Brown traded at all. I know that AJ Brown and Vrabel have a really good relationship, but since Mayo has taken over as head coach for the Patriots, which everyone thought Mike Vrabel was going to the Patriots as the head coach, and there could be an opening for him coming to the Eagles. I mean, someone's got to take control of this fucking roster offensively, especially. You still have a good roster intact for next year. And I think that's really important. By Batman with the super chat said, "What about Vrabel would definitely make sense if they're looking at defensive side of the ball. It could be an offense. It could be a head coach that calls the defense. We'll see what happens when the time comes and how they win or lose this game. If they then, to be honest, guys, if they win this game on Monday, I'll be shocked. Honestly, there's really not much for me to say. I have faith that I'm gonna be supportive of this team Monday night, but." I'm not going to go overboard and say that this is a guaranteed win. I don't know what team we're going to see. We have no identity. And when you run your offense off analytics, a coach doesn't have a feel for the game. Look what Nick Sirianni said this week. He's not changing any play calls. And then there was rumors of Nick and the offense, and apparently the defense, they're keeping things simple this week. He cancels a walkthrough practice and makes everybody practice in pads. Like, what are we supposed to be like? Seriously, what are we supposed to be like? I don't know. Am I supposed to jump for joy because they canceled a walkthrough practice? I'm not fucking impressed. You think I'm impressed? I'm not impressed. Why balance super chats? Do you think we have to fire Sirianni if we lose Monday? Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's. I think by that time you can't go into next year with him. I don't care what fans say about him. And we went to a Super Bowl last year. They have to give it more time. I feel like, yeah, you have to give guys time, but losing a locker room like this, losing 5 out of your 6 games at the end of the year, losing in December is the worst thing you could possibly do. We kind of saw this. I don't know if we saw this. I was already ready to fire somebody after the second Dallas loss. After we lost to the 49ers, I gave them a chance to kind of fix things. After they got killed by a rival, it just got worse, man. It got completely worse after that. David, appreciate super chat, by the way. AJ and CD together would be amazing. Yeah, that'd be great. Automatic loss. Robert says Sirianni is a big part of the problem. It's 100% a big part of the problem. Like, how is Brian Johnson getting 2 interviews already for head coaching jobs? You know why? Because everybody around the league, executives, GMs, everybody knows, okay, how the Eagles are run. That's why Brian DeBall didn't come here as a head coach. That's why the Eagles have had interest in other different coaches. But the main problem is that the scapegoat is going to be Brian Johnson. He's going to go somewhere else. We never had a chance to see what Brian Johnson could do with an offense. And it's weird for me because with Brian Johnson's resume, what he's done with quarterbacks in his whole career from college, he's done a really good job with a lot of guys. And I said to myself, why are they overusing Hurts every single, beginning of the season where he was getting hurt so much, and hence why he had that knee injury and still isn't 100%. So when you get into the playoffs, this is what you're going to be. This is how it's going to be sometimes. So Bill Cowan says, remember last season, there were no pressure on the Eagles, but right after the draft, the pressure was on Sirianni. Can't handle the pressure. You could be right. Could be right. Dutch Reacts says AJ trade coming? No. All right, AJ Brown, he deactivated his Twitter. He got rid of all his Eagles stuff on Instagram. He's still following the Eagles on both his accounts. So AJ is just focused right now. There's no reason as of right now to get into, there's no reason for him to at least, I don't know, look at social media, whatever. These guys shouldn't be on social media. These guys really need to be locked in this week. Slay again in a stupid interview is like, oh, I'm glad we're away because I don't want to get booed. Like, dude, like what is with these players, man? He's been a major disappointment, more from his fucking mouth than his play. Big place. I can't stand these players that have podcasts. I can't fucking stand it. Can't stand any of these guys that have podcasts. It's really annoying. Big Wig Cheers with Super Chat. Sorry, I missed this before. It says, when the Eagles win big, I want my props next time. Hey, I want them to win. There's nothing. Look, I'm not gonna walk on eggshells in front of you guys. I'm gonna say what's up. You know what I mean? Like, if they win, great. If they lose, like, it is what it is. I'm not going to throw it in somebody's face if they lose. I told all of you. I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to fucking flip out, you know. Rory Hines says, let Brian get interviewed. Why complain about that? Well, I'm not complaining about him getting interviewed. I'm complaining that I know what's going to happen. I'm already waiting for it to happen where Brian Johnson's going to go somewhere else and be successful. And we're going to be like, Jim Schwartz is doing good with the Browns. Look at Jonathan Gannon. Yeah, it's a 4-win team right now, but look what Jonathan Gannon did with that defense, and look at the pressure they can give. He's one of the highest blitzing teams this year. We didn't do that last year. Why is that? Getting in the way of the coaches, getting in the way of these coordinators, having control over the coordinators. And that's all Nick Sirianni. That against Gannon, that was, and we went into that Cardinals game, I said, Gannon has been doing a pretty damn good job with that defense. I ain't gonna lie. You know, we wanted him gone. We thought he was the issue, and apparently he wasn't the issue. Apparently he wasn't the big problem. It sucks, but that's just the truth. Chris says, using Hurts like he's Mike Alstott was a mistake. Oh, I think it was. AJ is Phil. Yeah, of course, dude. Eagle says, this is a few years back with the Titans in the game after he disabled his media. He went for 200. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. So that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. It's just for him to cope with it. Like, he just needs to, just go home. You know, he wasn't at practice the last couple days. He's got a knee injury. There's no reason for him to even be at practice. If they just told him to say, stay home, rest up, you don't need to be at practice, it's fine, just get locked in, and we're going to get ready to go. You know what I mean? But was after actually looking at their body of work at Bexley, truly picking the Eagles, they will trounce them. It won't be close. The Bucks are beatable. You could run on that team. You could pass on that team. You could especially run on that team. If Hurts isn't 100% with his throwing and A.J. Brown's not 100% going into this game, they got to run the fucking ball, and they still got to do it. I'm telling you right now, I don't care if DeAndre Swift was, DeAndre Swift having just over 1,000 yards is a fucking crime. This man should have been the second best rusher in the league this year. I'm not even kidding. Should have been the second best rusher. No, that's not vodka. That's water. It's water. I don't drink hard liquor anyway, so. Eagle says, I don't know why, but I got a feeling we're going to pull everything back together and shock everyone on Monday. I hope so. There is nothing more that I want than the Eagles to have some big fucking comeback in the playoffs and just totally floor us with our jaws hitting the floor. I'm not even kidding. Would absolutely love it. Webb Adams says they're interviewing him because Sirianni is calling the offense. That's Joey's point. So Brian Johnson is not the issue. That's Joey's point. I was confused at first, too. I had a feeling that this was happening. I mean, Dave Spadaro was getting questions from Eagle fans. He was saying, hey, I'm answering questions. Any Eagle fans want to ask questions, let me know. So people were asking questions. There was an Eagle fan that would ask the question, who runs the offense? Is it Nick? And give me a percentage of who runs it. And Dave Spadaro says the offensive game plan is 100% around Nick Sirianni. Because when Brian Johnson has a press conference to talk about a game or the offense, I feel like, and yes, I know you can't give shit away, but I feel like he doesn't even know what he's talking about half the time. I feel like the questions aren't regarding like what they're trying to do offensively. I feel like they're more like how a player is playing, and when you get into this situation, why did you do this? I feel like Brian Johnson is just not a part of any of it, like at all. Ray Gearard says, Nick is a one-trick pony, and I think the message has worn out and is not the ability to hold his men accountable and be imaginative offensively. I think part of it, too, is, I think part of it is every time Nick gets a question about accountability, he gets really pissed off. But what I see on the field is not accountability. I feel like we're going through like the Carson Wentz thing again. Like Carson Wentz would fuck up and like the guy wouldn't be reprimanded on the sideline. Like none of these players get reprimanded. Like none of them do. And Nick just looks pissed off with his arms crossed going up and down the sideline the whole game when you're getting your fucking ass kicked. I think that's like one of the biggest problems I've had. Like I feel like there's no like, Doug did that. Doug did that shit with us. And then by the end of it all, it just noticed. I remember Doug did that for a couple years when he was the first 3 years when he was here. He got heated. Some games he got really fucking heated, against the players, a couple times. You know what I mean? So remember 2017 we faced the 49ers? Remember that clip of Doug saying, we better get our fucking heads out of our ass. Like, just telling all the players that. Like, I don't see that with Nick. Nick will like celebrate, and Nick hasn't been, Nick's got a little ego. Nick hasn't really, since Nick really did that shit at KC when we won in Arrowhead, he really hasn't been doing a lot of that since. Talking shit to the KC fans in the tunnel and shit. It was great. I love it. But he hasn't done that in a while. When you start losing games like this, you start to see like what the team is really made of and how the coaches are really the roster isn't going to pull you out forever. The roster is not going to get you out of these sticky situations. KM says Eagles land Belichick and they win it all next year. Look at Pat's defense this season without their two best players who were hurt. Ranked top 5 in most categories, was still one of the best Ds in AFC. I forgot the other tweet that I've seen the other day is that there is a team out there right now that has a lot of interest in Bill Belichick. There is a rumor right now that there's a team out there that has a lot of interest in Bill Belichick that already has their head coach right now, that hasn't fired their head coach yet. So, it could be the Dallas Cowboys. It could be the Philadelphia Eagles. There's been a lot of rumors of the Dallas Cowboys as well. If they're an early round exit, then they could be making big changes as well. And I think the number one change it could be is Mike McCarthy, which it's hard for me to say because he just kind of took over play calling as of recent and has been pretty aggressive and has done a good job. The Cowboys offense is looking pretty damn good. And that's just the truth, honestly. Big Wig says reprimanding grown men playing professional sports seems very unnecessary if they're all actually mature adults. Well, the problem is, dude, if you're not playing good football, I don't give a fuck how. It's not being professional, it's coaching. You got to coach, man. You got to yell at your players sometimes. Who gives a shit? You want to reprimand your players sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like you have to do it. So what is your job as a head coach? You have to oversee everything that's going on. And you have to make sure you're not going to lose the locker room. You want to make sure that your culture is still intact. And like I said, it doesn't start with the quarterback. It starts with the head coach to the quarterback. And that's what's really important. Shane says, we got to man up and win a line of scrimmage. We should be able to win this game. They're just running the football. Give us a chance to rest. Hurts and Brown getting us ready for round 2. Yeah, I honestly think you just got to run with DeAndre Swift. Like, you could literally just have some fucking decoys out there that block, but you don't have 100% Jalen Hurts. I don't care how good he's throwing at practice. It's good news to hear that he's throwing a lot better at practice today. Apparently he had a really good day. But I can't put too much into it. I can't put that much into it. Blaze says, Joey, can you imagine if they bench Mayfield and Kyle Trask pulls an Andrew Luck? I'm going to lose it. Yeah, and that's another thing I'm tired. I'm tired of like even bad quarterbacks this year. This pass rush has got to hit home. You're taking your best pass rusher in Hassan Reddick the last 2 weeks, and you're putting him in pass coverage so fucking much, dude. I don't get that at all. Eagle says Maddox is playing safety Monday. Yeah, so this is true. Kevin Byard did say, I think of one of the little press conferences in the locker room, he did say they've been putting Maddox at safety, which isn't bad at all. I'm actually glad they're doing that because if you look at the injury report, You're down all your safeties. You're down, man. I mean, you're down everybody at this point. You have Sidney Brown's out for the year, which really sucks, man. That injury really fucking hurt us going to the playoffs. Because Sidney Brown, I think, is a future hybrid type player. Now, as much as I'm just going to say this, okay? If there's one guy I'm going after in free agency next year, it's 100% Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I'm telling you right now, Chauncey coming back to Philly, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would take a swing at him. I know he's already got he came back his first game and already got a pick. I mean, he's been playing really well before that injury, too. I mean, you know what I mean? He might go back to Detroit. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but, I still feel like you have a guy in Sidney Brown that I think plays better at safety than he does at corner, to be honest with you, because he can just cover the field so well. And even with safety help, I think Sidney Brown, like I said, his speed, getting to the receiver and playing tough, like he always does. I mean, our two hardest hitters on our team right now that doesn't care about smacking somebody in the mouth is Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown. Okay, you lost Justin Evans for the whole entire year with a knee injury. You're down like all your safeties. You're down everybody. So it's already shown you. And I don't think Reed Blankenship, I don't know if he's a starting safety in the league. I'm not sure. His coverage is really suspect at times. I feel like, he's more of a contact in the box safety, and I think that's all he'll ever be as a pure backup if they do 3 safety sets, or I don't know. I feel like he is solid, and I think he's deserving of a roster spot, no doubt, but as a starter, I don't know. Yet to be determined. They could obviously go after a free agent safety, and they could keep Sidney Brown as the other starter, maybe. But Chauncey Gardner-Johnson could be a target for the Eagles since they lost out on him last year. Whatever the issues were going back and forth with that, I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Philly D says, can't see Dallas signing Dak with new contract if he flops again. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a big cap number. They're going to have to extend him, most likely. So, but other than those injuries, Britton Covey has a groin, and then full practices. Jalen Hurts, Darius Slay, he looks 100%. Devontae Smith was full, and DeAndre Swift is back from an illness. So, we'll see what happens with that. We got a super chat from LP. Thank you so much, man. It says, yo, Joey, late to the stream, but practice. See, Allen Iverson doesn't mean squat. The vanilla scheme that the coaching unit runs on both sides of the ball is dooming us. Yeah, I completely agree. It's the most basic, non-creative schemes I've ever seen, especially in a defense. I'm more worried about the fucking defense. Yeah, we can worry about the Eagles playing situational football and, putting a team away when you can put a team away. And that's the issue the Eagles have had, is they just, when they have that one drive that's going to, that one drive that you could put a team away, get some time of possession. It's just ridiculous, man. Totally ridiculous. I don't believe a damn word that the Eagles are. I don't believe anything the coaches or the players are. I mean, the players are saying whatever they could say, but I don't believe anything that the coaches are doing. I really don't. It's unfortunate. It sucks. I think Howie Roseman. Someone said earlier in the chat that hopefully Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman are more humbled. But since the news came out that Jeffrey Lurie is at practice and he's been going, looking more into the football operations and being a part of it as of recent, especially this week, he was at practice every fucking day this week, so should tell you that Jeffrey Lurie might be making some bigger changes than people think. You know what I mean? So we'll see. So LP, thank you for that super, by the way. That means a lot. John Molly says CJ will probably resign with the Lions. He said himself he hates Philly fans. Must be because someone stole his car. Yeah, nah. I mean, look, I think a lot of fans were attacking him for leaving, and I think part of it is he just fired back at fans because a lot of people were talking shit about him when he left. That they couldn't get a deal done. Howie Roseman backed out of it. Howie and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's agents were talking. It was happening, and then for some reason, it was a backloaded contract apparently with Chauncey Gardner. It was like A 3-year, $22 million deal, $8 million a year, but it really wasn't $8 million a year. It was a backload of I forgot what the numbers were, but I know the first 2 years he was barely making any fucking money. And that last year, he wouldn't even be seeing half of that fucking money because it was literally backloaded to the last year. I think that was a big problem. And then that's why Bradbury was signed. If they signed Chauncey, Bradbury wouldn't have got signed. And so when Bradbury got signed, we were all surprised. But for me, I was not a fan of that shit. I was not a fan of that at all. Punjab, what's up? Mark says, do you think that they're mature enough? A fair number of players are in their 20s? No. Billy says they're pretty much forced to run the ball. Lane Kelsey said in their plan, and they're saying that if it's the Bucs, they expect it and won't be able to stop it. I don't think they could stop it. I think if the offensive line attacks the way they do, I feel like we're going to see some really good things. So, we'll see. But we got 322 in the chat. Thank you so much for being here tonight. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel. Like the stream if you guys haven't. Become a member in the pinned comment if you guys want to support the channel in any way possible. Do appreciate it so much. We don't do late night streams, but maybe we should start doing them again. The problem is I usually when I stay up late, I'm already in bed. I'm like really tired right now. I took a power nap before I fell asleep in my computer chair before, hence why this stream was supposed to be at 8:30ish, 9 o'clock. I went to go lay down. Let me lay down for an hour. It's what I always do. And unfortunately, didn't really help at all. VPR, what's going on, man? Says, hey, Joey, belated Happy New Year. Our crew back home for a while. Not sure Belichick would tolerate being a yes man to the front office. Hopefully AJ isn't the big drama queen. Take her. But I appreciate VP and thank you for your dedication and salute to you being in the service and making our country what it is today. So I appreciate it for all the freedoms that we have. So I do appreciate that so much. And good luck with everything. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I mean, the rumor was a week ago, I would say, that Belichick did say that if he goes to another team that he would not have too much control, that he would be okay of not having too much control over personnel and stuff like that. So if that helps, that has the Eagles' name all over it when it comes to somebody saying that. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens, but it would be very, very fucking weird if Belichick became the head coach of the Eagles. It would be very weird. Very weird. Phil D says Bradbury had a good career, but he's done. Yeah. $13 million a year for Bradbury is just nah. He's looked worse. It's looked really bad. I don't even think it's the scheme anymore because consistent weeks he's just looked really, really bad. Keely Ringo has looked better. Eli Ricks has looked somewhat better. A little bit of a flash here and there. Tom says even if Sirianni, even if we win the bowl, Sirianni still goes. Dude, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, how does that? I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that that's impossible. Can't do that. I don't think that happens. Big Wig Chair with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. So this week they're watching the first Bucs game over again a lot. It is a huge psychological boost to see yourself performing the way you should be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what these guys are doing. Even the last 5-6 games, you lose 5 out of 6 and you're watching tape. I mean, it's late in the season. It's late in the season in December, and there's a lot of tape on who you're facing. Whether you're facing the Giants, the Cardinals, whatever the case may be, the 49ers, I mean, there's a lot of tape, and you still just can't even look somewhat productive in trying to make stops, man. It's a problem, dude. It's a big problem. I don't care what the record is. At the end of the day, you got beat by a team that won 3 games in the Cardinals, and the Giants just, I mean, seriously. I mean, there's a problem here. And you're not making adjustments. You're not changing things. And you're keeping everything the way it is. It's a wasted fucking year this year. You got 2 brand new coordinators coming off a Super Bowl loss. And it's amazing how they were winning games. And even in the gauntlet, I got to give praise to Jalen Hurts for a lot of it. Without Jalen Hurts, you're not winning all those games. and those fourth quarter stops by the defense and getting pressure. We were getting good pressure, middle of this year. I don't think it was horrible. But, man, we can't garnish anything. They don't run stunts. They don't play their linebackers downhill. They have their corners 8 to 10 yards off the ball. How do you expect your defensive line to hit home? Why do you draft 2 defensive tackles in the first round? Why are you using your fucking best pass rusher in double-digit sacks in coverage? It's so questioning. I question this shit all the time. And I still say there's got to be an answer for it. Nick has made himself look so stupid in these press conferences the last 6 weeks. It's just to a point now where, man, he looks like a guy that's going to get fired at the end of the year. He looks like he's just saying the most positive shit and just not being somewhat, I don't know, not being somewhat humble about hey, we need to play. We're horrible right now. We're not playing up to I get it, but he never says all of that. He never does. 28 against the run, it doesn't even matter, dude. We have faced teams that were bad against the run. The Cardinals were second. The Cardinals were the second worst team in the league against the run. No, not the second least. I thought they were. Could be wrong. They were the second worst team. I think they gave up 27 points a game. I mean, they're giving up a lot of points defensively. That's all I'm saying, guys. Just because you blitz the most, it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. It doesn't. But it worked. A cover 0 blitz on Jalen Hurts, and that's it. He's done for. Because everybody knows how the Eagles run their plays, and everything takes so long to develop. And there are plays where Hurts will not check down. If the check down's there, don't do it. Still throw it downfield. I feel like that's the way he's coached. Jalen Hurts really needs a coach that's going to push him. I don't want no friendly bullshit. I want pure fucking business when it comes between head coach and quarterback and getting shit done. When you're getting paid millions of fucking dollars, man. Skip Level, appreciate so much coming in. He says, hey, Joey, I got a question for you. If we fire Nick Sirianni and all our coaching staff, do you think Mike Vrabel would make a good head coach and Belichick as DC? I mean, sure. I don't see why not. It's a nice little pair. It could work. It could work. The problem that I'm just having in hiring people is you got to give these guys a little bit more control and let them be themselves and let them have control over the playbook, because this head coach, right now, we can't deal with this shit. There's just no way we could deal with this anymore. I can't. With Nick, if the nucleus of this culture is not affected and the locker room is not lost yet, even after this loss Monday night, if they have this loss, then I'll feel a little bit better that saying that Sirianni they need to pull him back and let him just be a coach and be a player's coach and hold guys accountable and keep the guys motivated every week. Other than that, I don't really want anything to do with him doing anything else. Don says, I think Vrabel would be better because he was a player. He relates to the guys in the locker room and he can elevate the team. Oh, yeah, Vrabel brings a lot of energy too, but unfortunately, I don't know if he's dealt with more than 2 GMs. I think he's dealt with only 2 as of right now. Vrabel, I don't think the Titans have even drafted that well. They build their fucking offense around a running back, and that's just a no-no in my book. They don't have a great line. They always have injuries every year. They've had 2 losing seasons the past couple years, and they may have found their quarterback, maybe, but we'll see what happens. Mark Mollenhauer says, hey, Joey, I forgot to thank you for all your work. I need to hear the truth, not someone who tries to bullshit us. Well, yeah, look, at the end of the day, I don't even give a shit about, I piss people. I've been pissing people every day. I've been pissing people off every day since we lost to the 49ers. I said, if we lose against the Cowboys, I'm telling you, I'm going to be worse than what you see me as right now, because I'm going to be blatantly ranting all week about shit, and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. at the end of the day, this is my venting tool. This YouTube channel is just a venting tool to just let out frustrations and obviously give my I'm not always right. I'm not always wrong. I'm just, at the end of the day, me and you are the same type of fan, but I show my face on camera and talk about it. That's really the only difference it is. So at least I don't need gurus on defense. Ray says, is Nick being himself by not changing anything for weeks? Nothing changes, no changes on offense. Same old story and huge losses. It's not close games. How can he stay? I know. Even through the gauntlet, like, because they were winning through the gauntlet, like, it was an excuse that they didn't have to fucking do it. He didn't have to change anything. That was the main thing. Like, how are you not trying to get this team productive in the first half, but the second half come back? And to be honest with you guys, like, yeah, there were some times we got really fucking lucky. You know, we found ways to win and took advantage of it, which is a great thing to have in a football team, to have that resiliency. But how long was that going to last all year? How long was that going to last? It wasn't going to last forever, and it caught up to us. Something happened between the Bills game to the 49ers game. Something happened behind the scenes that something must have happened. You know what I mean? I feel like you said when Hargrave spoke about Eagles practice. Yeah. Hargrave came out and said that the Eagles practices were more relaxing and chill. Like, the 49ers practices are more demanding and, like, hard practices. That's not a good sign. Remember what Sidney Brown said after the Giants game? Remember what Sidney Brown said? Sidney Brown said that something about the practices relating to the games that we're playing. And that's not good either. A player comes out and says that, that's not good. That means these practices are just, no wonder the tackling is shit. No wonder, like, we're just not, you're not even coaching well during these practices. Now you're getting these, I feel bad for guys that get paid and they're ruining their statistics by these two schemes, and these fucking this coaching staff is just not using the players to their strengths, and it's really annoying at times. You know? Robert says, I know, but I love to have Bill Belichick, but he's 71. Yeah, he's old. Having Bill is going to be very short term. You know? Robert says, I just hope the Eagles prepare a good game plan. Yeah, and have Swift to eat. Yeah, dude. The number one thing I want in this game, the number one thing in the offseason I really want is DeAndre Swift re-signed. I know the Eagles don't sign running backs. I get it. But DeAndre Swift is way too talented to let go at 25 years old. Seriously. Give him a 2-year contract. And he deserves a little bit more money. He got first 1,000-yard season of his career. Shows you what our offensive line could do. Shows you how much more this offense can do. This offense could put up 35-plus, 40-plus points on teams every game. But the coaching staff just sucks. There's no sense of urgency. The practices aren't coached. I mean, and you haven't made any adjustments. And when they start using motion, and, there's games, like there'll be like those couple games where the Eagles start doing like some motion. They start doing some, you notice when the Eagles do something new. I mean, to a point, like, to be honest with you, somebody on Twitter went on Madden and grabbed literally 8 to 10 plays that Nick calls, or this offense calls in this offense during football games. Like, there's like, it's either inside zone, Hurts is running and bailing out on pressure immediately. And I think that's one thing we miss from Jalen Hurts, is he's not patient enough in the pocket. But like I said, it's a regressing year for Jalen Hurts, and I get it, but it doesn't mean that Jalen Hurts is going to be like this the rest of Jalen Hurts is a fantastic quarterback. Okay? What the coaching staff is doing around him is just not right. And this is like a Jason Garrett situation right now. Just like the Cowboys and Jason Garrett. It's almost the same thing. Look what happens when look what happens when Dak Prescott actually has an aggressive play caller that knows what he's doing. Look at that offense right now and what it's doing. I'm not trying to blow smoke up the Cowboys' ass, but it's the fucking truth. I feel like this is like a Jason Garrett situation. And this could happen for years. If Nick stays on and they hire an offensive coordinator that we have no idea about, some fucking guy that's like from another roster, an assistant coach that's just looking for a bigger paycheck as a coordinator for the title, that's not a good sign at all. I think it's horrible. I don't like it. I think it's horrible. That's just me, So I said 49ers destroyed Sirianni's confidence and exposed the coordinators in the scheme. Yeah, I guess, but we've been playing. That's the first team that really destroyed us this year. But even before that, the Eagles were putting points up in the second half, but this shit's got to stop. You made no adjustments all year. You've done nothing. You've made no adjustments at all. Adam with the super chat, thank you so much, man. It says, that Kelsey vid got me hype right when I'm okay, but pull me back in. Kind of want to lose, also want to win. I don't know, man. What do you think best for the future? Oh, well, dude, we got to win, man. We got to fucking win. I don't want to get all the way to a playoff spot and fucking just say, oh, let them lose because I want someone to get fired. I want them to win. I want them to fucking go as far as they possibly can. I want the Eagles to not be talked about. I want them to not be talked about. I want them under the radar, and I want them just winning quietly. And just, that's what I want. I'm not going to go think ahead. Obviously, the Eagles will have to face San Francisco if they still move on. It's going to be very upsetting if they lose this game, and I'm afraid that this team is going to get fucking demolished on Monday night. I really hope it doesn't happen. But I'm sorry, the last 6 weeks haven't made any promises to me in my heart that anything's going to stay the same, that anything's going to change. I don't care what the fuck they say every week. I don't care what Brandon Graham says. It's the same shit. And I felt like even when we were getting killed by the Giants at halftime, coming out of halftime, Nick talked to one of the reporters and was like, we're just getting ready for a playoff game next week. It's like, dude, you're getting your ass kicked right now, and all you're talking about is this fucking playoff game. That Kelsey vid was awesome, by the way. That hype video was freaking amazing. For Kelsey, I'll run through a brick wall, no doubt. That's what I will do, no doubt. No issue with it at all. So, got Big with Chairs for the super chat. Thank you so much, man. It says each play has 2 to 3 plays attached to it, and Jalen decides at the line of scrimmage based on the look. Why is everyone being so sure the defense? It's defensive. It's defensive coaches. Oh, look, Hurts makes audibles and changes plays, and I don't know. I feel like when even during games when they try to make changes, I feel like it's too late at times, or Hurts will try to do too much. They want to get the big play downfield. They're playing for PIs. They're playing, you underthrow a go route just so you get a PI call. Their play calling is so fucking lazy. It's like you won't even throw a short pass. When do you ever see Jalen Hurts come on literally under center and just throwing a quick, something quick, really fast? No, it's never like that. All these teams that do motion, the Eagles are literally last in the league percentage-wise, the least team that uses motion in their offense. The scheming and the creativity is so bland. It's just not good. It's not good at all. Completely sucks, honestly. I hate it. Q-Biz says, if the Eagles let Swift walk, I'm done. Cowboys and Rams will try to steal him away. Just wait. I'm sorry. Miles Sanders letting him go is fine, but DeAndre Swift, I'm sorry, but he's too fucking valuable. I'm sorry, but how can you let DeAndre Swift walk? I'm going to be beyond pissed off. Mark says, play hard and show heart. That's all I'm looking for, man. Roster with Hurts injury, they will have to run more, and that's probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. Nick seems like dude, bro, surfer dude, not a coach. Philly says, looks like the players ignoring the play calls on offense. Well, it looks like a lot of them are going through the motions. Even defensively, I feel like there's no voice on defense. There's no leader on defense. There's no one firing these guys up. And I feel like there are games where they go through the motions. I really do. Billy says, it's not the coaches. If Jalen changes the plays based on defensive looks, it doesn't. No. That like I said, that's coaching. That's just coaching. of what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. We got a super chat from Adam, says, any merit to AJ going dark? No, man. Well, dude, like, he's focused. Somebody in the chat said the last time he did this with the Titans and he went off for over 200 yards. I don't even care about that. Like, he's just focused. Nobody needs to be on social media. No one needs to be on a fucking podcast. Nobody needs to be on social media. Nobody needs to do any of this. Nobody. So I can't stand these players now and all this media and all this shit that's going on. I can't stand that these guys have. I feel like it just makes it worse. All you're doing is giving these beat writers more articles to write and to twist your fucking narrative around, and that's what happens most of the time. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. We lost our identity. We never had an identity. We never had one. The only reason why we ran so much in that Vikings game is because Kenneth Gainwell was hurt. What was it, 175 yards rushing for Swift? Swift had like over 300 yards rushing in 3 weeks. And he didn't even get a target in the first game. He didn't even get they never even handed him the ball against the Patriots in the first game. Literally. Omar, what's going on, man? Hey, Joey, we need Howie to focus on contracts in the draft, leave coaching and schemes alone. And that's what he should do. Obviously, you have to be in collaborative with the coaching staff during the draft because the coaches want certain specific players. And the Eagles have been drafting very well the last 3 years, okay? 2018 draft was great. These last 3 drafts have been pretty good. I think the Eagles have a lot of depth at corner. Isaiah Rodgers will be Isaiah Rodgers, right? Will be another corner I'm definitely looking out for. Another future nickel guy. I think Isaiah Rodgers might be that guy at inside. We'll see. Besides, Maddox has $11 million cap hit, which I don't see them extending him. I think they should trade him. I think he's definitely an option to be traded. And I think, Bradbury, they got to do something. I really don't even want any. I want Slay gone. I want Bradbury gone. If Slay stays for another year, then that's fine. But the scheme has got to change. Slay. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather have Slay than Bradbury. I mean, that's just the truth. But because as long as Green Bay knocks the Cowboys out before they get knocked out, I'll be okay. Yeah. Well, that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. But we'll see. Robert says Jalen does what is called unless it's absolutely necessary to change the play. True. I agree. Parker defies says, do you think they got rid of Swift, which they shouldn't? They would go after Derrick Henry. No, he's going to cost. He's going to get a big chunk of change. At an older age, Derrick Henry's going to look to get that big, like, short-term contract, like, kind of like what LeGarrette Blount was doing at the end of his career. He was getting, like, those one-year big chunk deals. I think Derrick Henry, I think the Eagles have always really had interest in Derrick Henry. Now, the problem I'm having right now is this. The problem I'm having is that if they move on from Swift, I mean, you're down to Kenneth Gainwell as the only running back in your fucking room right now. It's not good. It's not a good start. And Kenneth Gainwell, I think next year's his last year. You're going to be down to no running back. They got to change the way they draft a little bit, too. They have to hit safety. They have to hit corner. They 100% have to hit linebacker. I'm not signing one-year deals all over that linebacker spot, dipping in the free agency, 4 times? I mean, seriously, Zach Cunningham, Miles Jack. And Miles Jack came back later on. I mean, look what TJ Edwards is doing. Look what Alex Singleton is doing. Look what some of these guys are doing right now. It's really ridiculous. Nakobe Dean is still out. Nakobe Dean, I'm not done with him, but I'm just phasing him out. Like, I have no trust in him to stay healthy. I'm sorry. But he tried playing a full year. He got hurt 3 times. He's been on IR 2 times. I don't care if he's got talent. If he's got no availability, At this point, what use do we have for him? Seriously. Like, what's the point now? Darnell says, we still got Rashad Penny. Yeah, and that's another thing. And what I saw from Rashad Penny the other night when he played against the Giants, holy fucking shit, dude. That guy can't pass protect he can't pick up a blitz or pass protect worth of shit. You know, he hasn't played all year. What am I expecting out of him now? Philly D says, there's a chance Green Bay does knock them out. They would need to dominate the run and control the clock. I would say Dallas offense can explode at home. Reason, what should fans expect of Kevin Byard's play this Monday? I mean, the one thing that Byard has had issue with this year, and I don't know if he's a return candidate next year. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be. But the problem I'm having is that he's got issues with tight ends. He can't cover tight ends. And I don't know. Like, he's just the matchup against tight ends has just been really bad this year. You know, and I think he's caught his swag a little bit here and there at times. But the scheme makes every position it's no position is in effect being productive right now because this scheme is over strengths of these players and what they could do on the field. And that's a big problem. You know, so it's unfortunate, but you know. Throws, I don't think Penny is invested in the team at this point. He looked like he didn't give a. I mean, yeah, I get it, dude. Like at this point, they're not going to use him. They're just not going to use him. So, Roger, Henry is 30 years old. The Eagles don't spend money on players in their 30s. Why we do need linebackers. Nakobe Dean needs to be moved to outside linebacker, which would be perfect position for him. Yeah, like, I'm not saying get rid of Nakobe Dean. I'm saying, like, I can't go into next season because the Eagles went into this season with Nakobe Dean. Oh, we got Nakobe Dean. Don't worry about it. No. I mean, he literally, I don't even know how many games he played this year. Wasn't much. He's just been hurt. I mean, 3 injuries. He missed valuable time in the offseason, joint practices, preseason games. He missed a lot of opportunity there. A lot of opportunity. Steve Brady says, don't know if you've seen it, but the Dean's IG says he posted he would be out the rest of the regular season the week after he got injured. No, I didn't. But he went on IR. He returned and went on IR again. He went on IR twice. He was hurt, came back. He went on the unable to perform list until the season started. And then he went on IR 2 times throughout the year. Rogue F7 Dragon says, do you think if the players should they call the plays and use Shane Sticker's play? Forget the coaches. Yeah. Brian Saransky, appreciate it, man. It says, Cox and Graham should be the voice of the defense. The young guys on the D should open their ears and listen to them. We need to develop another leader on this team. I don't have Fletcher Cox coming back next year. I don't even have Brandon Graham coming back next year. I think they still need an edge rusher. They need linebacker, they need safety, and what they do at corner is completely up to them because I feel like you're wasting a lot of money at that position right now. You have one guy that doesn't want to hit people a certain way because he wants to keep his body intact for his family, and you're getting paid millions of dollars. And you have another guy that's just quiet, doesn't say much of anything, and is getting beat by 5 to 8 yards every time I see a pass getting thrown. You know? These spaces, Nolan Smith is going to come along. Yeah, Nolan Smith needs to bulk up. He needs another year. And, you know, Sean Desai didn't do him any favors either. I mean, I know he had an injury in the offseason, and then, like, he was playing a little more special teams than he was on the field. Until they got rid of Derek Barnett, I think that was, like, you know, he got more opportunity there. But Nolan Smith needs... The one thing that Nolan Smith lacks right now, and look, I think he could be a hybrid player. I think he could play outside linebacker at Sam linebacker, and I think I would really just try to make him a really good edge rusher purely right now because I've been really saying, hey, let's just put him at 2 positions, see what he does. And I know in Georgia he did it. I feel like Nolan Smith has too much athleticism to be wasted at defensive end, but I mean, he just got to get more power and strength up, and I think the number one issue with Nolan Smith is his hands. I feel like when it comes to his hands and trying to get by guys, got somewhat of a problem. So, for we know, JoJo says Eagles should draft heavily on defensive side. Yeah, They still got to draft the right tackle because of Lane Johnson and these injuries that he's having every year. They have got to look into getting a right tackle. There's no doubt. I think and to be honest, Cam Jurgens is playing really good at right guard. Are we gonna get into another guard a guy that's supposed to be the future for Jason Kelce, and then Jurgens plays really well at right guard? I don't know, but we'll see. Bar says, yeah, Bradbury is shy and backwards. Robert says, use Dean as a roamer and Nolan Richardson and get a big middle linebacker. They need a fucking enforcer. First of all, the scheme's got to change, and then they have to be more aggressive and more creative. Secondly, they need a leader on defense. They need a home run hit at linebacker. They need somebody that's going to be a fucking on the line to scrimmage nightmare for any defense, kind of like what Micah Parsons is, something like that. I want a guy like that. It makes it so much easier. Your defensive line will be way more successful in the future. So, Rogue says, need to get a corner in the first so they can start Slay. Will be their number 2. Yeah. I mean, if they keep Slay, I'm fine with it. I haven't liked what Slay has said this year at all. Really shows a lot about where our team is at. John said, who's playing center when Kelce retires? Oh, it's going to be Cam Jurgens. But then you're going to have a hole at right guard, and then soon to have a hole at right tackle. Sua Opeta is actually a really good right guard. I like Sua Opeta a lot because he plays both guard spots so well. The more you know as an offensive lineman, the more value you're going to have, later on. So, Tyler Steen just needs a little bit more work. Tyler Steen just needs some more work. You know what I mean? Ryan says, no, Cam is out next. Center Lane is staying guard. Jeremy says, sup, that Latye the game 2 p.m. Saturday in Japan. Damn. Crazy. We got a new member to the camper tier. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining up. Mark Mollenhauer, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, dude. Robert says, think Swift has cooked his knee looking bad? No, he's fine. Barr says, Ringo and Rick's going to be the stars in the secondary within the next 2 years. Within at least 2 years, I hope so. Eli Ricks has done good, and then obviously the scheme he's done bad as well. Keely Ringo, the first couple weeks with Matt Patricia, I thought he played pretty damn good. I think we've gotten to see some younger guys get a chance, and step up. Slay had $35 million dead cap. We will have to keep him. All right, let's see. Let's check out Slay's numbers. I'm actually interested to see Slay's numbers. All right. So Slay's base salary is 1.2 this year. His cap number is almost 11 million. It's about $11 million. This isn't gonna be good. Yeah, trading him post June is not gonna do anything. Yeah, it's not gonna do much. They're gonna have to keep him. They can't restructure him. If they restructure him, they only save like $120,000, which is nothing. Which ain't great. The highest player they can restructure, or like Jason Kelce could restructure next year for $2.8 million. Kevin Byard's not going to be here. Well, he's got another year left on his deal, I think. I don't know if I could do this. Can I change the date? I don't know if I can. If Hassan Reddick gets restructured, they could save $10 million with him. But I think the holdout that they're going to have this year, I think the one player that's going to have a holdout is Hassan Reddick. I think he will hold out for the Eagles. I think that's going to happen. Robert says, hold on. Swift slow coming out of the stance. Susnia's bone to bone. We need multiple ends. Jeff Stoughton's the only coach I trust. That is 100% facts. Ezra Boy, Kobe says, why don't we run the ball again? I remember in the Vikings game there was a wide open holes between them a lot of theirs. And they ran a lot in that game. He had 175 yards in that game. I mean, I'm not. When Swift has a chance, he runs with it. If the Eagles are aggressive during the game and they're like, fuck you, we're going to run with DeAndre Swift. We don't care if you're good against the run or not. I love when they challenge defenses like that and just use Swift the way they use him. Guy could change direction on a dime. He's almost unstoppable in red zone when you give him an opportunity and not treat Gainwell as the dual threat fucking back that everyone's trying to think that he is. I don't know, but that's kind of alarming a little bit. So I think Byer will be better in a better scheme than hopefully will be running next year, so we should keep him. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know what they're going to do. Which linebackers besides Nakobe Dean, are they going to keep Zach? Are they going to re-sign Zach Cunningham? Are they going to re-sign Shaq Leonard? Shaq Leonard hasn't looked fantastic. I think the first game against the Giants, he looked pretty good. But didn't really, just the whiff tackling and just how bad everything looks. It doesn't help anybody's case. But if there's one player I want with the Philadelphia Eagles to keep, it's going to be him. It's going to be him. It's going to be DeAndre Swift, no doubt. Rats and Bats, Pest and Wildlife says we still have to sign Smith. Yeah, it's another contract. Well, I think they're going to pick up his option. They're going to pick up his option this way it's picked up, and they don't have to worry about extending him this year. I think they'll just pick up his option for his fifth-year option and just wait till... And usually when you pick up options for players, it means that you do want to re-sign them to a bigger contract. So even if they pick up his fifth-year option, I feel like a deal will get done beforehand anyway. So I guess, we'll see when the time comes. Brian says Jeremiah Trout Jr. would be an amazing first-round pick inside linebacker, then move Dean to outside. Yeah, if they could do that. I mean, Trotter, I think, is going to be a late first to an early to a second-round pick. I don't know if he's going to be I don't think he's going to be a top 10 player. Wonder if the Eagles have interest. We'll see. Edward says crash test Covey surprised me this season. Yeah, Michael Clay has done a really good job, and I was all against Michael Clay. I think he's done a really good job. And Britton Covey, look what they're doing with Covey. They're putting him in the offense in certain times. Like, I would honestly really try to incorporate Covey into the offense next year, or try to at least in these games. Britton Covey is like, I'm telling you, like nobody could catch him. I feel like he's a major compliment that he can really help this offense. Maybe early in the season I said no, but I feel like they can do a lot. He could be more of that third down type gadget wide receiver, something like that. I think that's definite. You know what I mean? Definitely definite. Philly just says if Eagles don't commit to the run, we're one and done. Yeah, it's true. Nothing wrong with AJ Brown. He's just focused, man. He's just focused. That's all it is. Nothing crazy. We got Fabio Vilcano. What's going on, man? Appreciate the super. Says we need a vet player that is loud and has passion. That's what I've been dying for. But with this fucking, excuse my language, but pussy ass scheme that they're playing, this such passive defendant area and not pay guys for their strengths and just letting this scheme kind of ruin everybody at this point. But they need that vocal leader. I totally agree with that. I definitely think they do. So we'll see. Britton Covey is the new White Lightning. I like that name. Judges like how the Cowboys use Turpin. Yeah, it's almost Turpin. You could line up Turpin all over the place. You guys noticed they stopped using DeAndre Swift in the passing game. Remember they were passing to him so much, and they kind of stopped doing that. I feel like Swift could do everything, and they don't know, and they just stray away from it, and it's really sad. Well, we're hitting the hour and a half mark for the stream. If you guys have any questions, obviously, we'll go over a few more. But we have 292 in the chat. Late night stream. I mean, shit, people are loving these late night streams. I guess maybe we'll keep going with these. Because I felt bad because I'm tired. I can fall asleep right now. I'm shot. I can go back to sleep right now. It's kind of crazy. But if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, like the stream. We're going to be doing a live play-by-play reaction of the playoff game on Monday night, and hopefully not going to work the next day pissed off. And good news in my life, at least, it looks like I just bought a brand new truck. Not yet, but it's already pretty much done. I can't do anything until Monday. But I just got a brand new truck, and that's been like an update. That's been a thing I've been working on the last couple, this past month. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. If anybody has ever drove or knows somebody that has a Jeep Gladiator, a 2023 Jeep Gladiator, let me know, because that's what I'm driving. If you just want to know some updates. But Rylan Yancey, what's going on, man? He says, Shakes, thank you for everything you do for the Eagles community, brother. Like it up, gents. For your information, Jacoby announced on his IG story that he's out for the season about 2 months. Dude, really? I mean, why didn't I fucking see that? I must have totally fucking missed that. I must have missed that. But appreciate it, Rylan. Ezra Kobe says, how do you honestly feel about Quez? I say get him out of here. Doesn't seem like he really wants it. It's been a very disappointing year for Quez Watkins. I don't know why when he came back this year, I don't know why they're throwing deep shots to him. I know he had that garbage touchdown from Mariota. He hasn't done much. He's been hurt a lot. He's been out more. He's been in, unfortunately. Yeah, I want him gone. It's not hard to find a number 3 receiver. It's not hard. Julio Jones, they finally used him in a game with 2 touchdowns. What was it, the Cardinals game? I forgot what game it was. The Giants, the Cardinals game, I think. I forgot what game it was. And it's been on and off. Zacchaeus has been probably the most valuable guy. Only a couple touchdowns for the year, but I feel like his blocking and what he does, all the dirty work, I feel like he's got more value in doing that. So it's been kind of crazy. Park says, yeah, liking the late night streams. Awesome. We might do more. Yeah, Joseph, thanks for your time and effort. I appreciate it, man. Keep it coming, big guy. Great show. Rogue says, keep in mind, Jeep is Italian. Yeah, the Italian engines I know haven't been great. I know that. So I literally just got a brand new truck. I'm gonna go pick it up on Monday. It's a Jeep Gladiator 23 Mojave, a desert running Jeep pickup. So that's what I ended up getting. Joey said, I want Texas A&M. Jaron Cooper, he flies around the ball, 6'3", 230 pounds, dude gets in the backfield. I'm not going to put too much in. The least thing we need is a running back, because I feel like you already have an answer at that position anyway. If they at least, try to re-sign somebody, I'm not really sure. Franklin, so I work as a Jeep mechanic. They have a recall for the left rear axle seal, and if it has manual tailgate, a recall to replace the latch. Damn. I hope I don't. I mean, I'm not. I don't really drive much at all. I work a lot from home. I don't really drive much, so I mean, I definitely have to drive, but crazy. No problem, dude. You're good. You're good. Always. Use Covey like Cole Beasley. Heading out, bro. Good night. All right, VP. Have a good night, man. Team Brady says not hard to find number 3, but Quez speed only 5 wide receivers I could name that's faster. Yeah, but sometimes speed isn't everything either. Like if you can't run routes and you can't catch and you can't get separation, or as a number 3 the wide receiver 3 is probably one of the worst positions because you're not a main focal point. You're not a main focal point in an offense, especially in the Philadelphia Eagles, because when your number is called and when Hurts is extending plays and your number's called. Even last year, there were times where Hurts was throwing to him and he wasn't even looking at the ball half the time, not knowing it was getting to him. And then he had this grade 2 shoulder sprain last year. He didn't play any consistent games at the end of the year, even in the playoffs. And then they threw him in the Super Bowl last year. And one of the most important potential catches he could have had went right through his hands. It sucks. Ron says, it's possible AJ took everything down because he's not playing Monday. He still hasn't practiced. No. Why make him stand there at practice? Number 2, dude, he needs to be locked in. So stay off social media, deactivate your shit, stay off social media, do your thing. So I'm not making a big deal out of that. Punjab says Covey under contract. Oh yeah, he's still under contract. He's undrafted, so he's still on contract. Dustin says my wife had a Jeep Renegade and blew it the tranny in the first year. Never again with a Jeep. Well, the Jeep Renegade is a Fiat, dude. It's not a real Jeep. The Jeep Renegade is not a real Jeep. It's a Fiat 500. It's not an actual Jeep. That's what I know 100%. And they're cheap. They're like 24, 25,000. They're really not expensive vehicles either. I already have it lifted. I got it lifted. I have 35-inch tires. I have I did the soft top roof because I wasn't paying an extra $2,000 for a hard top, a 3-piece hard top. So it's black wheels, black Jeep. It's nice. Torval said maybe we should go back to more of a 12-man personnel next year and draft another good tight end to pair with Goddard. We aren't getting a lot of mileage with wide receiver 3s, and extra time would help. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Jack Stahl hasn't done much this year. Calcaterra, Jack Stahl's done a couple good things, nothing much, not a lot of opportunity. Calcaterra, not much opportunity. That guy we traded, Albert O, he hasn't even. Why trade for a tight end? Not even going to use him. I think Albert O has got a good future with this team. I want to see more of Albert O going into next offseason. Albert O is definitely going to be somebody I'm going to be looking at. So we'll see what happens. Rogue said the only player who should be allowed to do podcasts is Jason Kelsey. That's true. That's true. Hold on. Message my buddy on here quick. Do I have any hope? Yeah, of course. I always have hope, but it's hard for me to have hope when you lost the last 5 out of 6 games and the same things being regurgitated out of their mouth every week. Rob says, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Your Jeep. Oh, dude, yeah. I'm really happy. I have a warranty. On it, so if something bad happens like that, Brady says, is this me or does Bucks offense built to exploit the Eagles? I mean, Baker Mayfield is not going to be 100%. He's dealing with a couple injuries. He hasn't even practiced in literally 2 days. Baker Mayfield hasn't even practiced in 2 days. So, how would I feel if the Cowboys lost on Sunday? I'd feel amazing. But at the end of the day, I don't really care because we have to win games. We have to win games. Rogue said, I recommend the for off-road, go with Toyota. Yeah, well, I'm not going off-road. I like the Jeep because I like the look of it, and that's why I got it. And I like Jeeps in general, so. Yeah. Robert says, Kelsey is the leader, not, let's not get twisted. Yeah. True that, bro. True that. Let's see here. Philly D said, we're going to know in the first 5 minutes of the game how the game will go. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the story. That's the story of how everything's going to turn out most of the time. And by the way, guys, how's the quality? I know I haven't put the mic filters in like I do for my videos on this mic yet. I'm using OBS to the Streamlabs, so I have different settings on here. But let me know how the quality looks. It should be like at 2K to 4K. I've actually been trying to up the quality since I built a brand new computer. Just want to see how everything looks stream-wise, a lot more clear. I have to still set my camera up to 4K, which I haven't done yet. I got to do that, which will make it look a lot better as well. But let me know. Robert said we should beat Tampa Bay. Seriously, no, they're beatable, dude. We look like the worst team in the league. I mean, that's how. It's almost amazing how they look that bad at times, like really bad. I have Cowboys losing in Detroit. Jeremy says AJ Brown is out. Do you think we should throw more to Swift? No, they should run with Swift. They should run with Swift. I don't care if they use more double tight end sets. They should run with him, no doubt. And if they want to use him in the passing game, that's fine. Like, I got no issue with it. AG said, I have a sourdough losing boats. Okay. Joey says, Rogue, they playing the pack. Phil D says, very good. NFL Reality Check. What's going on, man? Hope you're having a good day, dude. Good night. Late night, I should say. Rafiq Gibbs says, I'm torn like a man, but I do believe Swift will have a good game. Yeah, I hope so. Swift was one of my... When we traded for Swift, all I said was I really hope that he stays healthy. And he has. If you sat him out that last game, I swear to God, I better not see five snaps to him in the first half. It's going to piss me off. It's going to really fucking dig me. No doubt. So... But all right, guys. I think that's going to be it for the night. We've went over... What? Almost an hour and 28 minutes. Want to appreciate everybody that joined the stream today. We have 292 in the chat, still strong. I guess we'll do some late night streams. I mean, I don't see why not. You know, if people are more up, I mean, my audience is really, at least for you guys, most of my audience is mostly the late nights. It's because I did this for so long and then I stopped because like I can go to sleep right now. I'm shot right now. But yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. I mean, we'll have the Philly shakedown tomorrow night. Tomorrow in the daytime. It's not going to be a night stream tomorrow. It's going to be a quick stream tomorrow. I'll definitely watch some football this weekend. I'll do the live play-by-play on. We might actually let's do a stream on Sunday night. Why not? We'll do a late night stream. So we'll actually add in another stream since we don't play Monday. We'll add in a stream for Sunday night. Why not? Sunday night, we'll do our thing. Sunday night, so we'll do a stream like this Sunday night, late night, and talk about the game and kind of just go through maybe some of your guys' opinions on things. So, and that's it. So, like I said, subscribe, like the stream, put the likes up. I do appreciate it so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you guys on the next one. Enjoy it. Shake Squad Up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.